Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Started to work on the front spoiler for the 2018 Volkswagen Golf. I'm going to grind back the edge, the front edge here with some 50 grit on the roll lock, and then clamp this strip of plastic, with the vice grips to the back of the piece, and then mix up some resin and cloth, same as I did on the pocket bike project, and I'm going to laminate that onto the front first to get that built up, and then once that's cured I'll do the same to the back. So I'll cut you in and out as I'm going along. So I'm going to get started here in just a second. So you don't want to go too aggressively. You want that scuffed up. You don't want to melt all the plastics. You got to go slow, got to go gentle. Otherwise it'll just gum up and make a big mess. But I can feel that's been ground down quite nicely, and it's nice and rough. That'll give this fiberglass resin and mat something to bond to. Okay, I got my plastic backing strip clamped on. I cut up a bunch of chunks of fiberglass mat. I got about 1/3 of an ounce of resin in the cup. So I'm going to mix that up and then start dabbing these pieces on. Okay, that's the first couple layers of glass on there. It doesn't look like much right now, but I think that's going to shape up quite nicely. Okay guys, the resin's all hardened up here. Ready to take the clamps off and remove the back, this plastic backing strip. Now I use this 500 watt halogen work light. Not only does it produce lots of light, but it produces a lot of heat. So if you need to heat something up, that works real good. Works good for me when it's cool out. I use it on Big Jim's door to cure body filler in the winter time. So yeah, I'm going to fix this up. I'm going to grind the backside away and then laminate, laminate some layers of resin and cloth onto the back to reinforce it. Got a big bubble here. I'm going to grind that out and add another layer to a cloth right through this radius, and then I'll be ready to start giving it some shape. So I'm going to get to that point. I'll bring you back. Okay, so I ended up, like I said, I worked on the back of this. Actually cut into that air bubble that was there when I added the fiberglass and mat to the back of the piece. So all around through here I roughed up with a roll lock, cleaned it with some acetone, and laid some resin and mat down. The green or bluish green stuff, oops sorry, little bluish green stuff here, I added a skim of fiberglass filler to that, and then I've already just kind of roughed it in with the roll lock grinder just to give it a little bit of shape. Now I have the other, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, this thing is in 3 pieces, so I took them in the house and I washed them before I got started. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this is the other corner, and so I've got it to use as a guide to correct the broken piece. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add add a little bit more of the fiberglass filler into here, and then should be ready to get some final shape on it. So added a little more filler, and then actually just as it was getting cured, I shaved all these lines in with a razor knife actually. long as you don't go hard at it, just kind of crest the top of it. You can shape it before it gets hard, to save you a lot of sanding later on. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna start working this down with a little 80 grit, and I think it's probably ready for a little skim of Bond or fine filler. Okay, the repaired piece definitely has taken shape, looking like the other side now. I think it's time for a little bit of filler and start finishing this up. So I got some fine filler on here. I did the same thing. I worked the excess off the edges with the razor knife just so I don't have to sand it. And work this down with a bit of 80 grit, and then if it's good, I'll finish it with some 180. If not, I have to give it another skim. See when I get there. Okay, clean that up with some 80 grit, and then went back over it with some 180. I think it's gonna be all right. I'm gonna wipe it off with a tack cloth. I got some paper and tape here. I'm just gonna tape this back so that the whole thing doesn't need covered in primer, just the repair area. And I'm gonna hit it with a couple coats of good old Transtar 2-in-1. Okay, I gave a couple coats of primer. I can see some sand and scratches and imperfections in the workpiece here, so I'm gonna put a little bit of this red glaze putty on it, clean that up before I start blocking this back down again. So put some red glaze on there and sand that all back. Gets a bunch of the imperfections out of there. I'm ready to hit this with another coat of primer. Okay, so looks like it's repair's pretty good shape. All sanded back. I got a couple cut throughs there. I'll just puff a little lacquer primer on there before I go to paint. I went Scotch-Brighted all the other pieces back. They're all ready to go. Take them in the house, give them a quick little wash in the laundry tub, and we'll be ready to some paper on the table and paint them up. So I ended up putting another coat of primer on here. I was just gonna puff it on before I sprayed, but the weather's kind of cool, so it's kind of risky. So yeah, I resprayed it, and then I just hit it with some Scotch-Brite to blend it all in. I'm going to spray the black base and the white base and the clear with this R100. This is kind of a clone of the Spray It's R100. I can't see any difference between this gun and the other, except for that the where there's red should be chrome, where it's chrome, should be red. So this will be its maiden voyage. It's all cleaned, ready to go. The black, this piece is already black and been cleared previously, so I'm hoping I don't have any issues, because I only got to paint this little bit along this edge, and the same on this part and that part, because I'm just going to drop a 1/8" fine line tape on there to where the pinstripe's going to go, and then coat the rest of it in white. So I'll have to paint the black, reassemble the three pieces, run the pinstripe, take it back apart, and then spray the white. Okay, I come to the realization that I can't run a camera and spray at the same time. Got the second coat on, looks pretty good. I'm gonna put these in the back room where it's warmer. Let them dry for a while, and like I said, I have to reassemble the three pieces and then put the fine line tape on, and then shoot the white. Now I had a little problem. This is a .8 mil gun, and I was using already reduced base coat that was left over from last summer. I think it was a little too thick for this .8. I ended up putting a little reducer in there and thinned it down, and then it started to spray quite a bit better, because I noticed on the first coat there the droplets were just a little too big. Well, unfortunately, I had a little reaction here in the repair area for unknown reasons, so I had to sand out a little spot here, and there was a line formed right here for some reason. It looks like I've got it sanded out. I can't feel it, and it's all sanded back smooth. So I have to reload the gun and blow some more base on there and hope it doesn't react again. Okay, I just finished blowing in that little spot on that front spoiler, and this is like the third time I've cleaned this gun with lacquer thinners. You can see that this red coating, this paint that is all over this gun, inside and out, it started to peel off underneath the air cap. When I took the cap off and I cleaned it out with lacquer thinners, all kinds of red material came out. So yeah, I'm gonna abandon this gun and pull out another one to finish this job off. Alright, what a shit show. Okay, just pulled this gun out of the box. This was another gun I was going to do a review and unboxing on. Fortunately, I have the receipt for the that other one. I will be returning it, so I'm gonna see about finishing the job with this gun instead. Alright, I assembled the three pieces again. Got out some 1/8 inch vinyl. I think it's a vinyl. The vinyl tape. It's this stuff here. This fine line. I think it's a vinyl tape. And it just kind of went around the perimeter, kind of keeping a even distance. The line isn't perfect. It does have a little wave in it, but even if you were trying to put just a pinstripe tape on, I don't think you're going to get it perfectly straight. So I think this is going to work. Comes down, and I wrap it around the back here. So I'm going to just cut these. First I got to cut these apart here where the pieces come together, and then add a little fold down piece on each one. Line them back up and get ready to spray the white base coat. Okay, I'm all set up here. Paint's mixed in the gun. Wish me luck, guys.
Looking down from the heights that we have built all by ourselves, and there is fear of the unknown, but we cannot lose control when we feel like.
So that's 3 coats of the white base. Looks pretty good. Little minigun didn't do a bad job, I don't think. Better than the last one for sure. I'll put these in the back room, let them cure up a bit, and then bring them back out and peel that fine line tape off and get ready to clear them out. Okay, I let that sit for about a half hour in the back room. Peeled the fine line tape off. Looks like it come out pretty good. There was a bit of an iffy spot here on this piece, right in this area. I can actually see it. There's a little tiny spot. The tape started to lift off when I was spraying the white. You probably saw me stop and fiddle around with that, poked it down with my finger, and then I actually had to scuff out a little spot here where I accidentally touched the white. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm gonna mix up some clear and finish this job off.
Giving up, letting go, times we might feel compelled. Looking down from the heights that we have built all by ourselves. And there is fear of the unknown, but we cannot lose control. When we feel like the world is against us, we're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot sink into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for.
All right, that's two nice wet coats of clear on these pieces. Looks pretty good to me. Come out real nice. I think the fellow that owns these is gonna like that, because I like it. I'm surprised at how well that actually turned out. It actually looks pretty sharp. Now I'm gonna put these after this cures up. I'm gonna put these pieces back together and show you what it looks like as a whole. Alright, here it is all back together. This is kind of a simple project that somebody could take on in their spare time once they have a little experience. Turned out pretty nice. I think the customer's going to be happy. Yeah, make an extra $1 on the side with something you know how to do. See you next one, guys.